Okay, it's a real privilege to present here today, and I think we can all agree that effective internet access is critically important to everyone, whether you're in an urban area or rural area. And it is really my view that it is a central pillar to promote economic development. It's promoting job growth, infrastructure improvement, technological innovation, energy security, and overall quality of life. But the extent of the benefits of effective internet access is not really known in New Zealand. So today what I would like to do is I would like to illustrate some of the potential economic benefits across our regions in New Zealand. And I will base this on our recent report. Is this working? Here you go. I will base this on our recent report, Regions of Opportunities. Now, this report is part of our series, Shaping Our Slice of Heaven. The first report, Industries of Opportunities, was published at the end of 2017 when we launched Deloitte Access Economics. And in that report, we assessed what are the comparative advantages of New Zealand. In the second report, Regions of Opportunities, we took a more sort of cities and regions focus where we examined what will be the impact in the growth of the industries where New Zealand has a comparative advantage in across different regions in New Zealand. So over-reliance on a handful of economies such as Auckland, Wellington, and Canterbury can really provide New Zealand vulnerable to economic shocks. For instance, if an urban centre would experience a downward shift in our property prices, consumer demand will likely be softened due to declining wealth and reduced consumer confidence. So this really begs the question, what role our regions should play to ensure and that all regions are supporting overall economic success. To address this question, we focused on exports and e-connectivity. Export-driven growth is really highly important for New Zealand. We are a trade-dependent country, and exports is currently accounting for a third of the country's output. In addition to that, our key export industries such as tourism, agribusiness, advanced manufacturing, and food processing are really providing key anchors for New Zealand's economy. And all these industries now are almost fully reliant on connected technologies. So the key question that we were asking in our Slice of Heaven report is, how can regions build a pathway to prosperity? And what role do exports and e-connectivity play within this picture? We wanted to know how our regions could benefit from increased export growth with effective internet access. So we estimated the economic benefit based on an assumption of higher export growth, and we also assumed that you can only observe this economic benefit with effective internet access. So we picked 4 industries in this report to focus on, and all of these industries that you can see here are the industries that we've identified as a comparative advantage for New Zealand. So we focused on tourism, agribusiness, food processing, and advanced manufacturing. We also picked 5 regions in New Zealand, which is really a combination of urban and also provincial areas. And we focused on Auckland, Wellington, Canterbury, Waikata, and Hawke's Bay. So to assess the economic benefit, we developed a framework where we considered some of the key drivers for regional economic development and regional economic development is also driving overall economic growth. And then we also considered what is the relationship with this related to effective internet access. And it was really within this relationship where the power lies, where e-connectivity can transform our regions and industries today. So the first driver that we considered was around geographic reach. And a primary way that businesses interact with the world today is through imports and exports. And then there's productivity, and we all know that there's a great need to increase productivity in New Zealand. And we can do so by building on our comparative advantages through innovation. Then local streams and opportunities. Each region has its own streams. For example, some regions have niche industries, while other regions have a natural advantage, such as climate. And then the last key driver was around optimization of our resources. So that's optimization of resources within our country's rich but limited resources, and also how we can optimize the allocation of that across all of our regions. And then it is my view that effective internet access or e-connectivity is really the central pillar to regional economic development. And this view is informed by observing trends in modern businesses. For example, in today's world, e-connectivity really reduced information asymmetries to make markets more efficient across jurisdictions. In terms of productivity, e-connectivity provides real-time information which enables real-time responses and reducing errors. Local streams and opportunities. With the volume of data collected today and available today, really enables us to accelerate the learning curve and assist companies to more rapidly adapt to market shifts. And then lastly, resource allocation. With effective internet access, we can really automate activities. And this in itself will impact all of our regions and also future of work. So in using our economic model, which is the CGE model, we stimulated how the economy will adjust and respond to an increase in export growth over a period of 20 years. Our model is sufficiently dynamic to observe both the impact within a region, but also flow-on impacts in other regions as a result of interregional trade. And what we have found was quite insightful in that the impact in the growth of the industries really have a different impact on different regions based on the characteristics of those regions. And for today, I will focus on two regions. I will focus on Wellington for no better reason that that's the region that I live in. And I will also focus on Waikata because that is the key agri-tech hub in New Zealand. So the model results for Wellington show that a potential economic impact of tourism is really pronounced. With an increase in exports for tourism, this regional economy can be $2.5 billion larger over a period of 20 years compared to the export growth that we are currently observing. The Wellington region could also have considerable economic impact from increased export growth in food processing and also advanced manufacturing. In terms of employment, advanced manufacturing provides the greatest opportunity for Wellington. Now, if you look at these results, at first it may seem counterintuitive, but the signs have been apparent for some time that Wellington has opportunities to leverage economic growth and jobs outside of the public sector. It is in my view that Wellington must look at its comparative advantages, which leverage of synergies between film and creative, food and beverage, and tourism sectors. So in contrast, let's have a look at Waikata. Comparing the economic impact across industries reveals some surprising result. For example, the tourism industry offers almost 3 times as much potential economic impact compared to agribusiness. So this demonstrates, 1, the untapped potential for tourism in Waikata, and 2, that we do really have a dynamic economy, because the impact of agribusiness in Waikata is not only observed in Waikata, but also in nearby regions, such as Auckland. And food processing is really providing the greatest opportunity for Waikato in terms of employment. Our modelling shows an increase in regional employment of almost 3,000 jobs by 2040. And again, I would like to emphasize that we can only realize this benefit with effective internet access. The results also show the importance of sustainability and being prepared for future changes. A key challenge to capitalize on this opportunity is the ever-increasing need, for example, for farmers to respond to changes in regulation and market needs, including consumer behavior. This in itself requires hard conversations around the transition to a low-emissions economy, the use of biotechnologies, access to water, and also competition for land. Now, farmers are already responding to these requirements, and biological emissions have been decreasing since 2005. However, the harder question is, how will Waikato farmers continue to do so sustainably over the long term, particularly if they are competing against farmers internationally who are not subjected to the same regulation? So to illustrate how e-connectivity could transform the business of agriculture, and also how we could build a platform of success across all our regions, I will now hand over to Jane.